Hello everyone, back with me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying back in time to ancient Spain, to the beautiful city of Toledo. We're going to learn about a truly inspiring saint, a young woman whose bravery and faith have echoed through centuries. Her name is Saint Leocadia, and she is the beloved patron saint of Toledo. Her story is a powerful reminder of what it means to stand firm in your beliefs, even when it's the hardest thing to do. Let's travel back to the end of the 3rd century. Imagine a world very different from ours. This was the time of the Roman Empire, and a fierce emperor named Diocletian was in charge. He launched a huge and terrible persecution against Christians. It was a dangerous time to believe in Jesus. In the city of Toledo lived Leocadia, a young woman from a noble and respected family. She was known not just for her high birth, but for her deep and unwavering Christian faith. The Roman governor in Spain at the time was a man named Patron. The old records describe him as a furious persecutor of Christians. He was determined to stamp out the faith. When Patron came to Toledo, it didn't take long for him to hear about Leocadia. She was well known for her devotion, and she was quickly denounced and arrested. Leocadia was brought before the governor's tribunal. Patron probably expected this young woman to be frightened to quickly give up her faith to save her life. He might have tried to tempt her with promises or scare her with threats. He ordered her to renounce Jesus and to make a sacrifice to the Roman gods. But Leocadia was not afraid. She stood before him with incredible courage. She told him that she considered herself infinitely happy to serve God and His Son, Jesus Christ. She made it clear that absolutely nothing could make her turn her back on her religion. Patron was furious with her steadfast response. He ordered her to be cruelly tortured. She was flogged until she was covered in blood. But even this immense pain couldn't break her spirit. Along the route to the prison, other Christians saw her. They were heartbroken, weeping for her terrible condition. But Leocadia, with a strength that could only come from God, consoled them. She told them not to be sad for her, but to rejoice. She saw it as a grace, a special gift. To be able to suffer for her Lord, she went to her prison cell not with despair, but with joy in her heart. While she was locked away in that dark, cold dungeon, news from the outside world trickled in. She heard about the martyrdom of another young Spanish saint, the famous Saint Eulalia of Merida, who had also suffered terribly for her faith. Hearing these stories filled Leocadia with a profound sense of grief for the suffering of God's servants, but also a deep longing to be with them. She fell to her knees and prayed. She asked God not to prolong her exile in this world, but to take her from it, to unite her speedily with her fellow martyrs in His heavenly glory. Her prayer was answered. Weakened from the torture and filled with a holy desire for heaven, Saint Leocadia died peacefully in her prison cell around the year 304. Her death wasn't a moment of defeat. It was a victory of faith. And a beautiful tradition tells us that as she passed away, she was kissing a cross. This wasn't just any cross. It was a cross that her own hand had miraculously imprinted onto the hard stone wall of the prison, a permanent sign of the faith that could not be contained even by rock and iron. After her death, Leocadia's story didn't end. In fact, it was just beginning. She was buried in a local cemetery near the Tagus River. Very quickly, a strong devotion, a cult, grew around her grave. People were so inspired by her courage that they came to pray at her tomb. Her memory was so cherished that a beautiful church, a basilica, was built right over her grave. This wasn't just any church. It became one of the most important Christian sites in all of Spain during the time of the Visigoths. It was so significant that several of the historic councils of Toledo were held there. Starting with the 4th Council in the year 633, these were huge meetings where bishops and leaders gathered to guide the church. And they chose to meet in the church dedicated to this brave young martyr. 2 other important churches in Toledo also carry her name. One was built on the site believed to be her family's home, and another was built over the site of the prison where she died. Her presence was felt all over the city she loved. Even centuries later, during the reign of King Alfonso X, that prison cell still held a sign of her presence. A writer from that time recorded that they could still see and touch the sign of the cross, that she had impressed into the stone wall with her fingers. It was a constant physical reminder of her powerful faith. But the story of her earthly remains, her relics, is a whole adventure in itself. In the 8th century, Spain was facing invasion. and Toledo was occupied by the Moors. The Christians were worried that the sacred relics of their beloved saint would be disrespected or destroyed. So, for their safekeeping, they carefully moved her relics to the city of Oviedo in the north of Spain. There, another basilica was built in her honor. Her journey didn't stop there. Centuries later, a nobleman, a count from a region in modern-day Belgium, came to Spain as a pilgrim. He ended up fighting alongside the Spanish kings in the Reconquista, the long effort to reclaim Spain for Christianity. As a reward for his service, he was given the precious relics of Saint Leocadia. And so, her remains left Spain and were taken to an abbey called St. Ghislain. For hundreds of years she rested there, far from her home city. Even though she was far away, the people of Toledo never forgot her. In the 16th century, there was a great movement to bring her back. Even the king and queen of Spain at the time, Philip the Handsome and Joanna of Castile, were involved. They managed to recover a small piece of her relics, a tibia bone, and bring it back to Toledo. Later, a powerful Spanish duke tried to get the rest of the relics back, but failed. It seemed like she might never fully return. But then, a Jesuit priest named Miguel Hernandez, who was originally from the Toledo area, made it his mission. He found her relics in the abbey in 1583. After a long and difficult journey, taking them all the way to Rome and then back to Spain by sea, he finally brought them home. The final return of St. Leocadia to Toledo was a massive event. The King of Spain himself, Philip II, presided over a grand and solemn ceremony in April of 1589. The entire city celebrated as her. Relics were finally returned and placed in a place of honor in the great Toledo Cathedral, where they remain to this day. After centuries of travel, their patron saint had finally come home to rest. Because of her story, when you see St. Leocadia in art and paintings or statues, she is often shown with a tower. The tower is a symbol of the prison where she died, a reminder of her final act of faith. Her story teaches us that even in the darkest places, like a prison cell, the light of faith can shine brighter than ever. Her quiet heroism and her unwavering trust in God, even when facing torture and death, continue to be a powerful source of inspiration. The story of St. Leocadia is a testament to spiritual strength in times of great fear. She shows us that true bravery isn't about not being afraid. It's about holding on to your faith and trusting that God is with you, no matter what. For all of us, young and old, her life is an encouragement to be brave in our own lives, to hold tight to what we believe in, and to know that God is always near. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn about the incredible life of St. Leocadia of Toledo. I hope her story has inspired you as much as it has inspired me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories of the saints, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy and hungry for holiness. See you next time, and God bless you always.